Morning, everybody. It's cold. It's real cold. You know, the last couple of mornings, maybe a week, has been 50s in the morning. It was 33 when I was up in my office a few minutes ago. Damn that. So I want to make a video today about pipes, mainly estate pipes, really eBay pipes. I've bought quite a few pipes on eBay. So as I've stated before, I've only been smoking a pipe for a few months. I believe it was January the 10th when I bought this. This is my Aldo Villani. It's a bulldog. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't really say anything on here. I think from what I found on, I don't even know the website, it's a number 9 or something like that. I could be totally wrong about that. But anyway, it's an Aldo Villani. It's a bulldog. I did buy it new. This is the one that has the little softy bit in here to take up the gap. It's a good smoker. And like I said, I've said this before. I mainly smoke aromatics through here. We are in the 2025 Codger Challenge. This is one of those pipes that I'm smoking. So in here is Champipple, which is a 50-50 blend of Cornell and Deal's Sunset Harbor Flake and Captain Black Original. I did adjust it a little bit by adding just a little bit more of the Sunset Harbor, so it was like a 60-40. The second bowl that I smoked out of it, I didn't like it as much, so I actually added a little bit more Captain Black to it, so we should be right back to a 50-50 mix. I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit because I didn't really buy a lot of stuff on eBay within the last maybe, I don't know, 10-15 years. Like I used to buy stuff on eBay for like my trucks. I used to build 4-wheel drive trucks a lot of years back. Excuse me. Going off road and things like that. And I would buy sometimes crazy stuff, like differentials. My brother and I built a little Toyota AE92, which is the front wheel drive version of the AE86. So we bought like a front clip with an engine, transmission, the whole front nose, all the wiring and everything. But again, that was 20 years ago. And then I don't even think I bought anything on eBay until I actually started smoking a pipe. And I just wanted a pretty cool little lighter, and I ended up picking up a Nimrod for like 20 bucks. It's an old pipe lighter from the 40s, I think it is, and it slides open. I didn't bring it with me. I have it upstairs, but I'll make a video on that too. But anyway, I wanted to discuss some of the estate pipes that I purchased via eBay. And honestly, you can get some really good deals on eBay. Not always though, so you really have to like take a look at the pictures and like scrutinize them. You know, and a lot of pipes are damaged, like stems. Usually they have bite marks through them, or you know, whatever. If it's something that you feel like you can fix, if you have a little bit of mechanical aptitude, you can definitely get some steals on eBay. So first one that I'm going to show is, I believe, well, you know what? First one I'm going to show is just one of the ones that I have in the Codger Challenge. It's my Stanwell 61. So this is considered a small billiard, and it has a long 75mm stem on it. It is the original stem. You can see the little Stanwell jammy right there. This is a Sandblast. It's not in terrible shape, but it's also not in great shape. So this is kind of why I used it for the Codger Challenge. My opinion of a Codger smoker is middle class person. And I'm thinking codger from like the 60s and the 70s, the 50s, things like that. People that, worked blue collar jobs, didn't make a lot of money. They had a house, they had a couple of children, they needed to be a little bit more frugal and a little bit more penny wise. That's how I approach it. And one of the things that I like about this is it is super lightweight, very easy to clench, and I think I paid like $30 for it. Maybe it was 40, I don't really know. But as you can kind of see, it's really not in bad shape at all. One of the things that is a little cattywampus with this is the stem. You can kind of see it a little bit, like it's a little bit off. Like, I don't know, I assume it was sanded, but it doesn't really fit perfectly, which I don't really give a damn about that. It smokes great. This thing, honestly, this is like one of my favorite things, or my favorite pipes to smoke with, because it smokes wonderfully. And with the long shank, it actually does keep the smoke fairly cool, because I have a tendency, because I'm so new at this, to puff a little bit harder than I should have. This is a handmade pipe. I don't know if you can truly see that, if it'll focus. It is a Stanwell handmade number 61, and as you can tell by the flat bottom, it is also a sitter. It is egged out a little bit. You can see mostly here, but there is some. Back in the day, we didn't have pipe tools. A lot of people would get what's called a pipe knife, and that was to kind of dig the cake out. Now we have reamers, which make it very, very simple. But that's my first one. This is a pretty good little smoker. I like this one quite a bit. Another one that I entered into the Codger Challenge, and I think this was my first one that I purchased. This is a Stanwell number 12. This is a large billiard, or an extra large billiard. It is pretty big. This is an easily 1.5 to 2 hour smoke. There's quite a few times where I'll pack this like halfway, or if I do pack it to the rim, just know you're going to be there for a minute, or put it down halfway and come back a little later on. But this is quite possibly my favorite, if not one of my favorite pipes. It's in good condition. You can see decent grain on there. It's very dark. I did not restore this thing at all. This is not a handmade. This is just a Stanwell. Actually, no, this is not a handmade, but it is a number 12. This thing has not been sanded at all. When I got this, it was mainly dark, or darker, and the stem needed to be cleaned up. As you can see on the stem, it's got a couple of marks on it. Nothing hateful, but there are some marks on it. But I did not sand this thing. I have some micro mesh cloths that I probably will polish it up with. But all I did was diamond paste this to kind of clean it up. I did quite a bit of work on the bowl rim up here, and you can see it's kind of a little digged out from the prior people that owned it, but it is still very round. It's a very thick bowl, so it doesn't get very hot at all. But the diamond paste does a wonderful job on this, because as you can see, possibly see, the lettering is very crisp on this. Looks like this had maybe been redone, because the Stanwell symbol is bleeded out a little bit, or maybe it's just a little bit of age. But this is definitely, well, I can't say definitely, this is probably my favorite pipe, just because it's old school. I like older things, classic cars, things like that. Old school 2-stroke motorcycles. A lot of my firearms that I buy are used guns. I like wood and steel. I have a bunch of plastic or polymer guns, Glocks, things like that, but an LCP that I showed in a video last night. But my preference is wood and steel, especially for hunting rifles, old school shotguns, police trade-in shotguns, things like that. I think I might have paid $40 for that one, $45 for that one. This is another Stanwell. This is a handmade. This is a number 3. This is a large billiard. And as you be able to kind of tell, It's not quite as big as the number 12 because the number 12 is an extra large billiard. But same basic principle, kind of thick bowl. This one is very round, so it's in good shape. There's a little bit of marring up here on the rim. Maybe somebody dug it out with a knife. Again, I don't really know. This one I cleaned up quite a bit. This one was pretty dark. Again, just diamond paste, no sanding on this. You can see the number 3. You can see the Stanwell handmade. At least I hope you can. But the bird's eye on this thing is really nice. The grain on this side is really nice. Now this one had a stem on it that had bite marks right through the underside of the stem. So I dropped this one off at Boswell's and had them make me a stem for this. And I paid $40 for this pipe. I think I paid $50 for the stem. Maybe it was $40 for the stem. I don't truly know. But I'm gonna make an attempt to fix the stem on this one and see how that goes too. But excellent smoker. I really like billiards. They kind of seem to be what I always go after, which will kind of bring us into the next one. This is also a billiard, obviously. This is a sitter. You can see by the flat bottom. However, this is the Gildall made by Conmoys. This is a number 28. And again, grain wise, pretty good. I mean, these things were not made to be super fancy when they were made, but they were made to be more for the common man, the regular people, those middle class people that didn't have tons of money to spend on a pipe but wanted something nice. Very wide bowl. Actually, I could almost fit my thumb in there. I could fit my middle finger in there. But this thing will last more than an hour. You could probably push it down to an hour if you smoke it hard, but this has not been sanded to my knowledge either. Again, diamond paste cleaning this up. I had to do a lot of work up here. There was a ton of cake in this thing, and the rim was very, very charred. And I did a little bit of polishing on the stem, and you can still see some of the bite marks, but nothing hateful. Again, I paid $40 for that one. And then my most recent acquisition, which I need to do a little bit more cleaning up on, it's another Gildall by Conmoys, but this is a number 4 Bulldog. And I really like this thing a lot. It's very small, you know, I don't know, compared to my other Bulldog, you know, it's maybe 2/3 of the size. But you could see quite a bit of charring still on there. I have to do a little bit more work with the diamond paste, but all the lettering is on there pretty decently. And you can kind of see how it's a little bit hazy there and it needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. But again, also bird's eye on this thing all over the place. You know, nice looking little thing. But just a really good smoker. The stem on this one has some bite marks. I tried to kiss it with a Bic lighter to just dent them back out. It didn't really come out, so I'll fill those in and then just file them down, sand it. When you purchase things, I bought that from some guy in Canada, so it was ended up being $45. But when you purchase these things, plan on doing some work, especially on the stems. I soak mine in alcohol. And the 2 Gildalls had a stinger in them, which I don't put in there. But plan on doing some work. I soak them in the alcohol, usually for a few hours, and they turn kind of like this hazy green-yellow color. And then you just use the microfiber cloths to kind of polish that off of there, sand it smooth, and then I use beeswax to put a coating on the stem just to sort of protect it from oxidizing. And I've been doing a ton of talking and so again, just along the lines of the codger challenge and being a codger. I don't think that I'm a codger because I literally have like 15 pipes. I don't think a codger would ever have 15 pipes. I think I have 16 now. keep an eye out on eBay. You can really find some good stuff. There are some people that are asking crazy prices for what they have. They think everything they have is gold. But if you really, really pay attention, you can find some pretty good deals. Well, anyway, that's enough of me yapping. Enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, your Second Amendment protects all of your other amended rights, and have a blessed day.